Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Ben here, and welcome to my top 10 most anticipated games coming in 2025. And it's exciting because at least 7 of these are coming out within the next 6 months. So we have a lot to look forward to. Just a heads up, I won't be including Elden Ring Night Rain or GTA 6 in this video. I am going to play them when they come out, but I wouldn't say I'm anticipating them as much as these other ones. I mean, who isn't going to play GTA 6 when it comes out? I mean, it came out in 2013, so it's been 12 years. Damn, that's like the same amount of wait there was for Alan Wake 2. That's crazy to think about. I also want to add in that I actually waited to put this video out until the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct happened, just in case a game or two blew me away and I wanted to put them in the list. But outside of Mario Kart World and Metroid Prime 4 and Duskbloods, there isn't much I'm interested in enough to dethrone the 10 games I put in this video. And Duskbloods doesn't even come out till 2026 anyways. And for me, honestly, I'm probably skipping out on the Switch 2, at least for 2025. I'm not liking what I'm seeing with the game prices, and a chunk of the games are not even going to be coming on the game cartridge. They're going to have a little white strip at the bottom of the case, and that means you have to download it from the internet anyways. And that's just unacceptable for myself, at least. When I buy a physical game, I want to own that physical game. I want to know that if the internet goes out, I can just pop in the game and play it. I don't want to have to rely on the internet. I can get over the $450 price point of the console. That's a one-time fee, but the game prices are just ridiculous, especially when there have been a ton of games coming out this year that are priced actually lower than the $70 price point. One of the best examples just came out. It's the first Berserker Kazan. It's a big Souls-like game that's gonna give me 50, 60 hours probably. And that honestly could have came out at $70, and guess what? They charged $59.99. So I'd rather support these games that aren't trying to price gouge us. You also won't see me putting Replaced on this year's list again for the 3rd year in a row without an actual release date. I'm hoping maybe, just maybe, if I don't anticipate it, maybe it will actually end up happening. When it comes to really cool announcements I've seen so far in 2025, we got a DLC announcement for my second favorite game of 2023, Lies of P Overture, which will be a prequel which places you in the final days right before the Puppet Frenzy Massacre, which was the main event surrounding the original game. We also got some Stellar Blade DLC announced, which is a crossover between the franchise called Goddess of Nikki, which I have zero idea what the hell that is, but it comes with more Eve outfits and a new boss fight, so I'll definitely check that out. And we're also getting a remaster for the Sinking City ahead of the upcoming Sinking City 2 this year. The first game is being moved over to the Unreal Engine 5 and will be fully relit in the new engine. It will include enhanced textures and reflections, and also will have a new photo mode. And as of right now, the Sinking City is $7.99 on Steam, so you can basically jump in for super cheap if you've never played the first game. Space Marine 3 already got announced to be in development. I mean, that's fucking awesome. I mean, the game just came out. It just shows how successful that game was at launch. And after 6 long years, we finally got a glimmer of hope with the Days Gone franchise, with a remaster coming out in April. Could this just be a way of Sony to make some extra money? Possibly, but I'll take anything at this point. Ever since my Most Wanted Sequels video, where I talked at length about Days Gone, there hasn't been much information at all about the franchise. But with Ben Studio recently getting their live service game canceled, and then this remaster getting announced, it's the first positive sign we've seen of a potential sequel coming in a couple years. Alright, now with all the interesting 2025 news out of the way, without further ado, let's get into my top 10 most anticipated games coming in 2025. Hope you guys enjoy.
You made it. That's just leftover hardware. It's been decommissioned. What the hell is happening? All I know is that Silvercorp is a piece of my story.
Starting off this year's list, and a game that could turn out really bad, or one of the best games of the year, is a sci-fi third-person cover shooter called mindseye. In an industry that seems to have forgotten that us gamers like third-person cover shooters, mindseye is looking like it's going to be a great one. Honestly, can't remember the last cover-based shooter I've played. Maybe Outriders in 2021? Used to get these games all the time. I don't understand where they went. But guess what? After a few years of nothing, maybe this subgenre is about to see a resurgence this generation. And the fact that Alex Hernandez, who also plays Lincoln Clay in Mafia 3, is also playing the main character in this game, and that has me even more excited. You'll be playing as Jacob Diaz, who's a former soldier who's suffering from memory loss and flashbacks, and it all seems to stem back from a mysterious implant in his neck. And our character is on a mission to unlock the secrets of this implant, and much, much more. In the trailers, they show off a couple scenes with high-speed chases and some robots chasing you down, so there seems to be this aspect of the story where the AI is going crazy, which sounds pretty awesome. Maybe this is going to be iRobot the video game. I also love how similar this game feels to something like Quantum Break. Just the camera angle of the character and the industrial environments and the visuals look so much like that game. I think the success of this game is going to come down to two things. How good does the shooting feel, and is the story good? Because from the footage and the trailers, it's definitely got me excited and intrigued. We don't have to wait long because this game is coming out really soon on June 10th, 2025.
They're malfunctioning. They're attacking us.
I don't remember when it happened, but I remember how I felt. Father told us to hide when they came to our house. Then they took him away. Mother said I couldn't play outside anymore. Everyone had fled. She said the country was sick, but we would be okay.
Our next game is a third-person action-adventure game from Rogue Factor, and it's being headed by Jonathan Balatet, who is the art director of the modern Deus Ex franchise, which was one of the most striking art styles in all of gaming, so it's pretty exciting to see him leading and directing his own game. When it comes to hellisus, he is promising a return to the golden age of gaming, where hand-holding the player was not a thing. While some companies tend to cater to the casual player, hellisus has taken a risk in celebrating its lack of transparency and direction. In this game, there won't be mission lists or waypoints to follow. You'll have to use your intuition to progress through the story and survive. And the developer has also said that if you think something looks off or interesting in the distance, you should probably trust your instincts and go that way, because you're probably going to find something interesting to discover. I also want to mention how beautiful this game is shaping up to be. I love how grimy the destroyed towns look, and some of the more vibrant areas look so mind-blowing. There seems like there's going to be a lot of variety visually in this game, where they'll play with colors and lighting in really cool ways. And some of the characters in the trailers, especially this one dude with the droopy neck, is pretty crazy looking. I can't wait to get lost in this one when it releases in 5 months on September 4th, 2025.
What's the story between you and the boss?
She was like a mother, and my master.
The Cobras will take care of him.
Do you hear me, Snake?
Sneaking its way into the countdown, and the only remake in this video is Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Out of all the recent remakes, this one seems to be sticking closest to the original game's design and look. While the remakes for Silent Hill 2, Resident Evil 4, and Final Fantasy VII changed up their games quite a bit from the originals, Metal Gear Solid Delta is appearing to take a completely different approach. Every scene, environment, and character looks like it was an exact replica of the original game, which on one hand is amazing. I think that's the safe and smart approach to making this game, but I can't help but wonder if it feels too close to the original, or is the game going to give us a lot of fresh content to explore like those other remakes? I think if it does remake the game to be almost exact same, that will be awesome for new players, but for existing players that have already played the first game, they might feel a bit underwhelmed with the lack of new content. But I'm obviously going to wait, play the game, and then make my judgment at that point. That's just the feeling I'm getting from the trailers. I do think they knocked it out of the park with the new character designs though. They look absolutely perfect. If they were going to keep anything the same from the original, I think the characters were the most important. And I love that they're bringing back the original voice cast too. After David Hayter was removed from Metal Gear Solid 5, I'm happy to see him back with the franchise. I also can't wait to see how or if they change up the boss fights, because the original game has some of the best boss fights, especially the hide-and-seek sniper battle with the end. I don't think there's ever been another boss fight quite like that one. Or the claustrophobic fight with the crazy astronaut called the Fury.
Quit fooling around!
Or the beautiful outdoor battle in the flower fields with the boss. I can't wait to experience the new versions of those. We'll have to wait and see if Konami can release another amazing remake 2 years in a row, when the game releases later this year on August 28th, 2025.
I'm not finished yet!
Next up is a game that has some massive shoes to fill, or maybe I should say little shoes. The Little Nightmares franchise is attempting to strike gold once again sometime later in 2025. This will be the third game in the award-winning franchise and the follow-up to two of the best indie games of the past decade. I'll admit, after seeing the reveal trailer for this game back in 2023, I was feeling a little bit underwhelmed with this game. I did end up putting in my most anticipated games last year, but I still had some reservations. I was excited for the game based on its track record alone, but I wasn't really feeling the sand setting that they were heavily promoting. But after their latest two trailers, where they showed off so many more areas than just the sand setting, I'm starting to have way more faith in this game, and I think they might actually be able to pull it off. I'm really excited for that amusement park area, and I can't wait to see who's watching Low and Alone in this latest trailer. And out of all games this year, this is the one I'm most intrigued to find out if it's any good. Can Supermassive Games follow up Tarsiers' masterpieces and surprise us all? I guess we'll find out sometime later in 2025. If we were to take ourselves back 6 years, the original Sinking City would have easily been my most anticipated game of 2019. To this day, that first cinematic trailer is one of the greatest video game trailers of all time. The setting, the visuals, and the amazing time loop story it was able to tell in just a couple minutes was amazing. The sky was the limit for the final game, and even though the game did end up being pretty damn good, it didn't quite live up to those lofty expectations. And this is exactly why I'm so excited for the Sinking City 2. Out of all the sequels in this video, this is the one that has the potential to make the biggest leap from its original. Frogwares is promising that there will be a new improved combat system that's been reworked from the ground up, and they're also saying they're taking inspiration from the leaders in the survival horror genre, which I would assume would be something like Resident Evil or Silent Hill. They're definitely putting a lot more emphasis on the creature designs this time, and with the Kickstarter being such a big success and crushing its initial funding goal, the team is planning to add new items like more puzzles, additional bosses, and even a secret area from the Sinking City 1, which has got me pretty damn excited. I want to know more about that. The more I saw the funding goal go up, I began to get happier and happier, but I also started to realize that the stretch goals had to be met, so they're probably going to have to take a lot more time to implement them, which makes me think that this is the game that has the highest possibility of being delayed. If they have to, I would rather these guys take their time and give us the best sequel possible. On the Kickstarter page, they're still saying that they're planning on a 2025 release date, but I'll believe it when I see it. I guess we'll just have to wait and see if we get some new news over the next few months. Hot off the heels of Silent Hill 2 Remake, Bloober Team is set to deliver us another survivor horror game this year with Chronos: The New Dawn, a game that's heavily inspired by John Carpenter's The Thing, Dead Space, and Netflix's Dark series. In this game, we will be playing as the Traveler, who is an agent of the Collective, who is given the mission to search the wastelands of the future, and your goal is to search for time rifts that will send you back to 1980s Poland, where your mission is to track down key people from the past and bring them into the future to help you. And I gotta say, this story premise might be my favorite of the year. This idea of going from the post-apocalyptic future to a more calm 1980s Poland sounds like it'll give the game some great variety and breaks between horror sections. Think of something like the first Alan Wake, where you have these relaxed chapters during the day and then the night chapters where the darkness comes out. I love that type of game design. And in their latest developer trailer that they showed a few clips of the gameplay, and it looks really similar to Silent Hill 2 Remake, and I think that's a great thing. So after playing that combat system and really loving it, I think they're going to do a great job here too. We don't have a release date yet for this one, but it's shooting for sometime later this year.
become a man of honor. Repeat these words. I swear my loyalty.
Coming in at number 4, and the open world crime game I'm looking forward to the most this year is Mafia: The Old Country, and another example of a cover-based shooter coming out in 2025. And this is only the second of the 3. I'll get to the third one here in a bit. It's a game that follows the story of a guy named Enzo Favara while he joins the Turisi family during the origins of the Mafia. I will say, after missing out on the Mafia series for years, I finally played my first Mafia game back in 2020. Being trapped inside my house during COVID and being on furlough allowed me to catch up on all kinds of games, and Mafia is one of those. And man, I was not disappointed. After hearing the debate for years on whether GTA or Mafia was the better series, I'm 100% on Team Mafia now. And I thought Mafia 3 really nailed its combat and gameplay with its shooting mechanics, its stealth, and especially with its brutal hand-to-hand combat too. You truly felt like a badass. I could see them not bringing back that brutalness of the hand-to-hand combat just because it felt like it was specific for Link and Clay to show how powerful he was. I really hope they do, because that was one of my favorite parts of that game. As of right now, the game is rumored to release sometime in summer 2025, likely between the months of July and September, but I wouldn't be surprised if Hangar 13 is waiting to see if GTA 6 drops, just to avoid that release date. It would definitely be in both their interests to avoid each other, especially since we only get these games once a decade. I mean, come on guys, let's spread it out a little bit. I'm betting we get some new news on the release dates sometime in the next couple months. Ever since I became a gamer, I've always preferred games in the third-person perspective, but every once in a while, a first-person game comes along that makes me question that, if only for a moment. And perhaps the best example of all was Dying Light in 2014. I just can't imagine that game being as great as it was if it was in third person. Everything from the parkour, the heart-pounding chases from the volatiles, and the brutal zombie combat, it all works perfect in first person. Even after all these years, Dying Light still delivers one of the best atmospheres in gaming. And now, after a somewhat underwhelming sequel in 2022, Techland is finally bringing back Kyle Crane in Dying Light the Beast. The story will follow Crane as he seeks revenge after being held captive and experimented on for the last 13 years. And since it takes place after Dying Light 2, there's a good chance we'll see returning characters from both games. And even better, Olivier Deriviere is returning to compose the soundtrack. His work on Dying Light 2 was great, and after his masterpiece and A Plague Tale Requiem, I'll always be excited when I see his name attached to a game. But what excites me the most is the return to Dying Light's horror roots. The sequel lost a lot of that tension and atmosphere that made the first game so special, and it ended up feeling a bit too arcadey. And from the trailers and the footage we've seen, this new game looks like a return to form. And we don't have to wait long because the release date is targeting sometime in summer 2025.
For the sake of the future, we must all come together. As a barrier to the bad, and a gateway to the good. All hands, brace for launch.
Is there another video game developer besides Kojima that can utterly confuse the hell out of you while also making you think you just watched the greatest trailer for the greatest game that's ever going to come out? Even after putting in 200 hours into the original game, I still have no idea what the hell is going on in these trailers. But that's what I love about it, man. The trailers have so much variety to them that you can't help but think, how the hell is all this footage coming from the same game? Or how is this going to tie into one cohesive story? But with that said, if it's anything like the first game, it's going to have a confusing yet great story. Death Stranding was easily one of the best games last generation and probably my second favorite game of 2019, right behind Days Gone. I just remember the first Death Stranding having one of the best endings. It made all the confusing parts of that original story and campaign worth it in the end. In Death Stranding 2, Norman Reedus will be returning as Sam Porter Bridges, and Troy Baker is reprising his role as Higgs, and he looks like a freaking psycho, man. I cannot wait to see what's going on in these cutscenes. I'm also really happy to see that the game is bringing back the traditional package delivery gameplay, which was the first game's defining feature. I do hope we still have a lot of those moments of loneliness and traveling across large areas by yourself, because that was honestly my favorite part of that first game. Those moments when you'd come over a hill and into an open landscape and the music would kick in.
There's something that's uncomforting. Your body is away with me.
It just highlighted the fact that you were all by yourself out here and how amazing that music was. The wait for this one actually isn't too long. It's set for release in about 3 months on June 26, 2025. When it came down to deciding my most anticipated game this year, it honestly could have went to any of the top 5 games in this video. But in the end, I had to give it up to the next game in the franchise that dominated my 20s, and that's Gears of War E-Day. Few franchises have shaped my love for gaming quite like the original Gears of War trilogy, and after a 6-year hiatus, the series is finally making a comeback. When Gears of War first released in 2006, I was 2 years into college and I had just turned 21 years old. And outside of playing the occasional sports game like Madden and NBA 2K, I wasn't a hardcore gamer back then like I am today. Little did I know that on November 7, 2006, Gears of War would change everything for me. It would quickly become one of the most influential games I would ever play. And I will say, even though we've only gotten one trailer for E-Day, it's enough for me to get excited because the visual tone and storytelling of the trailer literally transported me back to when I was 21 and seeing the Mad World trailer for the first time. That's how good that trailer was. And from the sounds of it, the series is going to be a lot more dark and closer to the original game's horror setting. And that's exactly what I want, man. And even though I'm obviously really excited for the new story and seeing the origins of Marcus and Dom, I'm almost more excited for the return of my favorite multiplayer of all time. Gears of War, to me, still hasn't been matched. The only multiplayer game that ever came close, in my opinion, was 2013's Last of Us. If you can't tell, I like cover-based shooters. And the sad thing is, we've been robbed of Last of Us as multiplayer too. So I'm really hoping that Coalition comes out swinging for the fences with this multiplayer. I want them to bring back fan-favorite modes like Wingman from the first 3 Gears games, or Dodgeball from Gears of War 4. If those 2 modes are in E-Day, I'll be the happiest gamer in the world. I'm assuming we'll get more information at Xbox's showcase this year, or maybe during Summer Game Fest, which starts on June 6th. And especially since Fable got delayed to 2026, I can see Microsoft trying to get Gears out this year. But if they do end up delaying it, I'm cool with that, man. Get this game right. The industry just doesn't feel the same without it. And that, my friends, is why Gears of War E-Day is my most anticipated game coming in 2025. And if everything comes out in 2025, this year will be up there with 2023 as one of the best years this generation so far, easily. But we'll just have to wait and see, my friends. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, stay in the light, my friends. Later.